I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with a cattle market summary for the week ending February the 24th. Well, that cattle on feed report that came out Friday was neutral. And evidently everybody in Chicago thought that it was going to be a wreck for the cattle market because they took the board down hard, especially on feeders. But come out neutral and should recover all that loss early this week, but we'll see what happens. But you look at the board for last week, live cattle futures for April. Monday was closed, of course, due to President's Day. Tuesday was up 37, Wednesday up 77, Thursday up 45, and Friday down 157, leading up to that cattle on feed report. But the board was closed and done before that report actually come out. But April fats ended the week at 114.95, actually up 3 cents compared to the end of the previous week. Feeder cattle still on the March contract, a lot of play on that. People haven't floated out into it, and that goes to show you there's not a lot of long speculators in there, but most of the traded contracts are still on the March, but should be flopping over coming this week. But Monday closed, Tuesday was up 47, Wednesday was up 55, Thursday up a nickel, and then Friday down 3.45. But the out fronts in the summer months weren't down quite that much, and so they're going to be even a bigger premium to what the spot market is. But your March feeder cattle contracts ended the week at 121.70, down 237 for the week. But you look at kind of what happened around this last week. Fats had that big surprising jump there on Wednesday, right after the Fed Cattle Exchange sold some cattle a bit higher. Then the direct trade was a bunch higher, $4 to $5 higher. And the big story is how much they sold. We thought it was going to be a little over 100,000, but then they traded a little bit more there late in the week. And through Thursday, we're up to 119,100 head. That is a big movement of negotiated cash sales, and if there's any Friday trade, hardly at all, it's going to tack on top of that even more. That is a huge fundamental plus positive thing for the fat cattle market and for all classes of cattle leading up. But that big movement, it's not going to be that full 125, but the weighted average on live steers so far up through Thursday is 124.38. Dressed steers 195.92. Pretty good, really. Do you look at the slaughter, decent slaughter for last week, especially seeing that Monday was kind of a holiday. It was a government holiday, but most people still have to work. But through the week, it was 575,000, which was 3,000 more than the previous week and 34,000 more than the same week a year before. Box beef cutout values made big gains last week on the average trade through last week. Choice carcasses were up $5.55 at $194.48. Selects up $4.19 at $191.87. With that spread at $2.61 there. Your actual dressed steer weight was lower again, 879 pounds, which is pretty healthy for the way things are right now. But let's look at that cattle on feed report. Cattle on feed there, the February 1st inventories came in at 100.7. The estimates from those analysts was 100.6. So it's 101, but it's absolutely neutral. I mean, they notched it. They notched everything this time. I give them a hard time when they don't. Well, they notched it all the way through this time. Your placements through January, we knew our placements were going to be pretty big. Everybody was behind selling all their calves because they didn't like the market in the fall. And then so they were just behind selling them and had a weather deal here or there. They were still getting their calves sold through January. We knew there was going to be heavy placements in January because people were selling those big calves that had to go right on to feed. But placements come in at a 111.4. The analysts guessed average on the guess was 110.6, so it was less than 1 percentage point, and actually landed the same at 111 if you round it off there. But that was very neutral. Marketings come in at exactly to the 10th what they thought they were going to be, at 110.2% of last year. So look how positive that is. Marketing 10% more cattle in the same time a year ago. But you look at your placements in January, your 6 weights placed on feed in January were up 21% over last year. 7 weights were up 18%, but 8 weight steers or feeder cattle, steers and heifers going on feed in January were actually down 5%. So that could bring some support for like your June fats there, because not a lot of cattle in that weight category went on feed, or there was plenty went on feed, but not as much as last same time a year ago. So those people that really like to tweak those numbers, they may find some support in your early summer fats because of that. Look at your feeder cattle market for last week. Your feeder weights were mostly steady, up to $2 higher. We had some pretty active markets there, especially late in the week, as everything kind of just went the market's way, especially after that big fed cattle trade there. Some guys come in and saw that as a plus, which it is a big fundamental plus for people that are looking for that kind of stuff and not just staring at charts all the time. But calves in your plains in the Midwest were just kind of unevenly steady, and we're really in a light test of them. Where they have good calves, they sell higher. But so many places we don't have a good test of calves. We're right between our old crop calves and the coming of the new crop calves. We just don't have a good test of calves in the plains and the Midwest. The old crops that are coming in, they might be pretty desirable for some guys turning cattle out, but they're going to be a lower quality. They're not going to be really the high genetic types, because those cattle are already weighing 800 or 900 pounds, or maybe halfway fat in a feedlot. So not a lot of those old croppers around, and not too many new crops either. Guys are still trying to get those weaned, and they may want to hold on to them with kind of an early spring coming in right here. But in the southeast, calves are firm to $5 higher. That's where you go to get calves this time of year, is in the southeast. They always have those light calves in those markets. You can call those shippers, those order buyers there. They can put you a load together and bring them out, and you can put them in a growing lot there for 30, 45 days and get them ready for early grass there. And that's what guys want to turn out anyway, is those cattle that are crossed up a little bit, got some hybrid vigor, got a tick of ear on them. They got more age than they do size, and they will really take off. You drive through the Flint Hills and the Osage, you don't see all these fancy black calves or all one color calves that much. You see speckled calves, you see calves with a lot of dewlap and a lot of sheath, because those are the cattle that really perform out there, and they grow and put so much pounds on right there, and they're easy to sell coming off grass, because the feedlots know how well they'll feed. So they're not going to discount those cattle for quality that much, because they know they're going to gain 5 pounds a day when they put them on the in the feedlot next fall in that good feeding weather. So it's easy to sell those, so why not buy those cheaper calves, ship them in out of the southeast, and they will really turn a flip for you. But still traveling here with DV Auction, Montrose, Colorado. We'll talk to you next week.